The hosts of the Swine Brothers show are not role models. They're not even human. They're complete monsters. The Swine Brothers show is dumb, crude, thoughtless, ugly, sexist, self-destructive, foolish, and a crime against humanity. Some of the things they do would cause a person to get hurt, expelled, arrested, possibly deported. The fact they blatantly ripped this off from another source should be an indicator of their shameless depravity. This extreme in bad taste will offend anyone with a working brain, so listener discretion is advised. If you're still here, welcome to the sewer of the internet.
Sprankle de crankle, motherfuckers! New Year's is a-coming!
Welcome to the Swine Brothers Show, episode 195. It's our New Year's special.
Yes, it is, sort of. Kinda. I don't care. Let's
Maybe.
Let's murder an entire year. Can we destroy the concept of time itself?
I think we can. I am your host, Ellie Lindemood, and the co-host voice.
Seeing Eye Mutant is the Jim Thompson.
Yes. We have...
Not a millionaire. I don't own a mansion and a yacht, but I like to set them on fire.
No apologies for the long thing, but, you know, certain things got in the way.
Yeah, I got the COVID, and then I got better.
And I had racing commitments. So Jim beat a deadly disease for like probably the 8th time in his life. And I watched a bunch of racing.
More like the 20th time in my life, but, you know, whatever.
It sounds good. Shut up. I mean, quite frankly, you should not be alive after your party tricks.
No, a beer bong filled to the brim with vodka kills you.
But it's been a good year. We had, of course, the interview with King Fowley of Deceased. That was an amazing episode. We've done some great episodes. And what is on the clown show tonight?
Oh, before we get started, I just wanted people to say, give the thing a like, give the thing a dislike, share the fuck out of it, comment down below. We like interaction and shit.
Yes, we like interaction. Subscribe. You know, subscribe if you like us. Share, do the bell thing, I guess. I've never actually done the bell thing. In fact, I don't even think YouTube notifications work anymore. Mm-hmm. But subscribe, like, if you like the show, share it. Share it with your friends, enemies.
And I want to give a nice little intro here because, you know, sitting here looking back on the year made me look back on previous years. And the fun things I've been on the internet that are now all shamed into dark corners because, oh my god, we can't admit that we like things like dark humor anymore because fucking people are pussies.
Yes, I mean, you're a lot older than I am, so you remember when the internet was...
No, it might not even be that they're pussies. It might be that they're just yuppies.
Well, they're aiming for respectability. Now, you're a lot older than I am, so you remember when the internet was the wild, wild west. I was about 4 or 5 when that was... So I was more interested in, you know, listening to motorcycle sound clips and things like that. But you remember when the internet was the wild west.
We had several things that catered to things like Rotten.com did with, like, actual autopsies and death pictures on top of really insane fucking... Dear God. Porn and fucking...
Drugs.
Crazy shit, yeah. Massive drug use. I'm sure that the story's still out there somewhere that I shared, which was a bastardized version of, like, you know, 5 months worth of experiences, but I crammed it into 2 days worth in the story to make it sound cool, because I was high on drugs whenever I posted it via dial-up.
Although I guess drug advice is still something that's fairly common because now that drugs are more accepted in our society.
Well, we kind of need the drugs so people don't realize how shitty life actually is.
Well, true. But things like porn and of course autopsies and stuff, as you said, it's not gone. It's relegated to the dark corners. But things used to be very mainstream. I mean, my sister and I, she used to surf the web, and I used to be there. She used to show me all these weird videos from the parodies of shows to just surreal wildness.
All right, here's one here that I don't know if you know.
Look at my horse is amazing. Give it a lick.
It tastes just like raisins.
Have a stroke of its mane, it turns into a plane, and then it turns back again when you tug on its winky.
That's dirty.
Do you think so? Well, I better not show you where the lemonade is made. Sweet lemonade, sweet lemonade, sweet lemonade, yeah, sweet lemonade. Get on my horse, I'll take you around the universe and all the other places too.
I think you'll find that the universe pretty much covers everything.
Shut up, woman, get up my horse. Look at my horse is amazing. Give it a lick.
It tastes just like raisins.
Have a stroke of its mane, it turns into a plane, and then it turns back again when you tug on its winky.
That's dirty.
Yeah, gotta jerk off the horse.
Is that your theme song, Jim?
No, but like, fuck. No, it's just something that was found, and I was introduced to, and like shit. And that's like early Flash video days of the internet.
Oh yes. Flash series were very big back then.
Yeah, this was just a stupid little song about jerking off a horse. Lick my horse, now fucking jerk it off.
It reminded me of Grand Theft Auto for some reason,
Yeah.
which is strange. Well, it's the same thing. I did see an article why Grand Theft Auto couldn't be made today or whatever.
Yeah. Because people don't have the mindset to make it. It could still be made. It would be very underground, and, they probably would ban it from various planets. They tried to ban fucking, I think it was called Hatred, which is just like a dual stick shooter kind of thing where you just run on a rampage killing everyone. They have achievements like, kill all women for misogynist, then kill all men for misandrist.
Oh God! I mean, I believe it was a terrible game, and it was like they were calling it, this is a real life murder simulator, whereas I just thought it was
A real life
shit.
murder simulator with a 2/3 down fucking isometric fucking view. Yeah, that's a, totally realistic. Oh yeah, and the main thing was everything was black and white except for the blood and explosions.
Yeah.
Everything's black and white except for those two things. It's like, yeah, that's so real life. Because people gotta fucking panic and be part of that fucking the morality squad and shit.
Well, now that now that Jack Thompson's been disbarred for filing some hilarious motions. If you've ever read some of the motions he's filed, it wasn't just anti-video games. He filed random shit like just random pictures and stuff. Anyway, he got disbarred for putting pornography in one of his motions, but people are still at it. Again, murder simulator. So, and yeah, the songs like the horse jack off song.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yes, it was.
Here's another one about going down Mexico City.
Okay.
Hey, Charlie! Hey, Charlie, wake up! Yeah, Charlie, you silly sleepyhead, wake up!
Oh God, you guys. This had better be pretty freaking important. Is the meadow on fire?
No, Charlie. We found a map to Candy Mountain. Candy Mountain, Charlie. Yeah, Charlie. We're going to Candy Mountain. Come with us, Charlie. Yeah, Charlie. It'll be an adventure. We're going on an adventure, Charlie.
Yeah, Candy Mountain, right. I'm just gonna, go back to sleep now.
No.
That's my typical response to going to Candy Mountain. Just go right back to fucking sleep. That's all we need.
Or take more drugs.
Yeah, now if you were talking Cocaine Mountain, I could make some money off that, even though coke was never really my thing.
Cocaine Mountain.
Cocaine Mountain.
Oh, Charlie, you have to come with us to Candy Mountain. Yeah, Charlie, Candy Mountain. It's a land of sweets and joy and joyness.
Please stop bouncing on me.
Candy Mountain, Charlie. Yeah, Candy Mountain.
All right, fine. I'll go with you to Candy Mountain.
La 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 la.
Enough with the singing already.
Our first stop is over there, Charlie.
Oh, God, what is that?
It's a Leopleurodon, Charlie. A magical Leopleurodon. It's gonna guide our way to Candy Mountain.
All right, guys, you do know that there's no actual Candy Mountain, right?
Shun the non-believer. Shun.
Shun the non-believer.
These
Always
are
got...
these are the fucking voices in my head.
Shun the non-believer. What do I want to believe in today? What do you not want to believe in today? Oh, God.
Shun.
Yeah.
It has spoken. It has told us the way.
It didn't say anything.
It's just over this bridge, Charlie. This magical bridge of hope and wonder.
Is anyone else getting, covered in splinters? Seriously, guys, we shouldn't be on this thing.
Charlie. Charlie. Charlie.
I'm right here. What do you want?
We're on a bridge, Charlie. We're here.
Well, what do you know? There actually is a Candy Mountain.
Candy Mountain, Candy Mountain. You fill me with sweet, sugary goodness. Go in.
Oh, God. This just reminds me of hanging out with perky people that I need to bash with a fucking frying
This
pan.
reminds me of my drug days.
Yes. And I also love, impending death. That was something we could joke about. Not anymore. Because we gotta be all moral about it. Let alone setting people on fire. That's my favorite.
Inside the Candy Mountain cave, Charlie. Yeah, Charlie. Go inside the cave. Magical wonders are to behold when you enter.
Yeah, thanks, but no thanks. I'm gonna stay out here.
But you have to enter the Candy Mountain Candy Cave, Charlie.
Oh, when you're down and looking for some cheering up, then just head right on up to the Candy Mountain Cave. When you get inside, you'll find yourself a cheery land, such a happy and joy-filled and perky merry land. They've got lollipops and gummy drops and candy things, oh, so many things that will brighten up your day. It's impossible to wear a frown in Candy Town. It's the mecca of lovely Candy Cave. They've got jelly beans and coconuts with little hats, candy rats, chocolate bats. It's a wonderland of sweets. Ride the candy train to town and hear the candy band. Candy bells, it's a treat as they march across the land. Cherry ribbons stream across the sky and to the ground. Turn around, it astounds. It's a dancing candy tree. In the candy cave, imagination runs so free. So now, Charlie, please will you go into the cave?
Alright, fine. I'll go into the freaking candy cave. This had better be good.
Yeah. Goodbye, Charlie. Yeah, goodbye, Charlie.
Goodbye? What? Hey, what's going on here? Hello? Who is that? Oh, what happened? Oh, they took my freaking kidney.
That was the big joke that everyone was saying back in the day, that if you pass out in Mexico, they're going to take your kidney.
Yes, even Venture Brothers made that joke.
Yeah, it was a glorious joke. Just to emphasize black market ties, the fucking gang problems and everything. But we can't be insensitive with that joke anymore.
Of course, no one would want Jim's kidneys.
That's why I'm immune.
I'm pretty sure they're fucked.
Yes, they probably are. In a million different ways.
I mean, you could do something like that, but it would be branded as offensive, and you'd never be able to gain any traction or whatever. Granted, I'm
some of this shit has been grandfathered into popularity. Like, you could make that joke, 10 years ago, but not anymore, and we're gonna have to shun it, which is like, well, you realize they tried the same thing with metal, and it exploded twice to the point where corporate people tried to latch on. First with the whole entire, hair metal kind of thing, glam rock. And then with fucking new metal, things that aren't even metal, but, they had to cash in it because it was way too popular and they wanted to make fucking metalhead loyalty dollars.
Yeah, so you had fucking Meatloaf doing new metal. I shit you not. He teamed up with that guy who does the, John, whatever his name is. And yeah, even Meatloaf did a new metal album.
But you have to remember, also, while all this was going on, we had the Satanic Panic, and heavy metal was linked with all the murders all the time, even though it wasn't.
There's a great documentary we're going to review one day. I don't know when we will, but we will soon. Called Death Metal Murders, and it's about a real life crime in Italy that was actually caused by metal music, and it talks about other crimes that have happened in anti-metal things. Yeah, well, of course, Ozzy causes kids to kill themselves. So does Judas Priest.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck,
but you see, you drove it underground, but it got popular enough that the fucking corporations had to latch onto it, and that has somehow been grandfathered in. But now they're trying to sanitize it again.
At least violence and is stuff is still popular. Thank fuck for that. Because in the 90s there was a push against violent video games and violent cartoons and stuff like that. So I remember that would.
Yes, the ESRB was formed because of moron combat. Because kids might try ripping off their friends' heads with their spinal columns still attached.
Well, I mean, yeah. Wasn't that a rite of passage?
Yes, that was the rite of passage back in the day.
If you're not trying to rip off your friends' heads. But I remember I was born in 94. Jim was born in, I believe, 1867. Anyway, I was like 5 or 6 years old when teachers would now I saw you watch you like those cartoons. They're so violent. Maybe you should watch something better. They were recommending Christian cartoons like VeggieTales was one and Bible Man was the other, which is the Christian.
VeggieTales was good, okay. Bible Man, oh god.
Bible Man's fucking hilarious.
It's hilarious, yes, but it's also you gotta, but it's not good for Christian media. It's a stain on Christian media, but it's hilarious. It's like propagandists that wanted to defame Christianity got inside, the fucking production booth and said, "We'll make Bible Man."
Because I liked shows, the Buzz Lightyear show and Invader Zim, where it wasn't Metalocalypse gore, but people, oh my god, they're shooting at people with lasers, and of course in Invader Zim was dark as hell for a kids show with kids' organs getting removed, which is always funny. But yeah, I remember teachers. I wrote a paper on Invader Zim, and they were, but it's so violent. You guys shouldn't be watching that. And then when I was about 11 or 12, I people had said they were into South Park as a kid, but I tend to doubt that. But when I 11 or 12, I got into the Family Guy and South Park thing, and oh my god, that just I remember getting a talking to from a middle school teacher because I said I liked South Park, and they told me how Kenny being killed will corrupt me or something like that. It was amazing. Or in Family Guy, there was where the baby like set the dog on fire, and I was told, but you're gonna be cruel to animals if you watch that.
Oh god, that just reminds me of the Chick Tracts. Oh god.
Oh, oh yes.
I'll have to go look them up in a moment or two, because I had other things planned I wanted to do first, but
yes,
those were fucking glorious.
Those were amazing. Well, let's. Do you have any other example? What the hell was that? What the hell did you show me just now?
Oh, that was Charlie the Unicorn, episode 1. They have several. It's a full series.
Okay.
And then they tried to revive it, but I tried watching the revival. It's like, dude, you're taking shit way too seriously. I think you lost the edge.
Yes. I should just say that. I actually don't. Yeah, okay, Charlie the Unicorn. Interesting. Poor Charlie.
Mm-hmm.
What else do you have lined up for us?
I have this.
Carl! There is a dead human in our house!
Oh, hey! How did he get here?
Carl, what did you do?
Me? I didn't do this.
Explain what happened, Carl!
I've never seen him before in my life.
Why did you kill this person, Carl?
I do not kill people. That is my least favorite thing to do.
Tell me, Carl, exactly what you were doing before I got home.
All right, well, I was upstairs.
Okay.
I was sitting in my room.
Yes.
Reading a book.
Go on.
And, this guy walked in.
Okay.
So I went up to him.
Yes.
And I stabbed him 37 times in the chest.
Carl, that kills people!
Wow, I didn't know that.
How could you not know that?
Yeah, I'm in the wrong here. I suck.
What happened to his hands?
What's that?
His hands. Why are they missing?
Well, I kind of cooked them up and ate them.
Carl!
Well, I was hungry, and, well, when you crave hands, that's...
Why on earth would you do that?
I was hungry for hands. Give me a break.
Carl!
My stomach was making the rumblies
Carl!
that only hands would satisfy.
What is wrong with you, Carl?
Well, I kill people and I eat hands. That's two things.
Yeah, that's two things wrong with me.
I think I've watched that about 13 times now, and it still makes me laugh. That's, of course, the classic llamas with hats.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck. That still makes me laugh.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one show that actually, I don't know, I don't know if it got better as when it was revived, but it definitely got weirder.
Oh, yeah. It was glorious.
I remember watching that at age 10. It was like, wait a minute, llamas eat hands?
They should. Dun, dun,
They
dun.
should.
Yeah,
But,
everyone should eat hands. Eat your neighbor's hands. It's good for dinner.
Go up and punish your neighbors, eat their hands, and do horrible things to them.
Horrible, 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 horrible.
Yes. So that's. I don't. Oh, that's funny.
Yes, I didn't know stabbing someone 67 times would kill them. Clearly, I'm in the wrong here.
I suck.
Yeah. Oh well.
I like that. I always like the dynamic between the comedic sociopath and the straight man. It reminds me of my own life.
I know. It was a fun life.
No, you can't do this because people will die. Aw, what do you mean?
Well, you see, when you blow up such a large structure with people inside it, they die.
Oh, really? Huh. I didn't know that.
Yes. It was one of those things that happen occasionally.
Occasionally. Well, you're one to talk. I've heard how you play Hitman. I thought the goal of Hitman was supposed to be inconspicuous. You blow up a city block.
Oh, yeah. Oh, fuck. Oh, hell. You know, you just drop the gas can into the living room.
Yeah.
While the fireplace is roaming.
I mean, I always thought the goal of like a hitman would be, you know, as Metal Church says, no one knows it was you. But apparently, Jim doesn't care about collateral. I respect that in a man.
Yes. You don't expect, you know, just... My favorite was I actually used bombs to get a silent assassin where I had to kill 3 people. I'd leave a bomb in an elevator, blow it up, no one found the body. Another elevator, blow it up, no one found the body. Get shot at while people are fucking trying to... This one guy went outside for a phone call, and I went outside, and people started shooting at me because I went into a restricted zone. And I just dropped a briefcase by his foot, ran outside, blew it up, killing him. But since everyone was shooting at me, they didn't find the dead body till after I left.
Nice. Yes, I've done, well, not that, but you've heard how I play RPGs.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't, well, both fantasy and modern RPGs, because those exist on the internet. You didn't pay your taxes. I'm going to drive a tank through your house. Well, you didn't pay enough taxes. So
yes, it's supposed to be, you only gave me 99%. I need 100.
Yes. Well, and that was literally, I think it was like 1% off, and it was a huge amount, so I drove a tank through their house.
Hi. It's like whenever I played Grand Theft Auto and flew a tank into the top of a fucking commercial high-rise. You could just imagine the guy that was just sitting there. He was waiting for the elevator to come up to bring him down from the 100th floor. And then all of a sudden the tank crashes through the window. And you could just go through the thought pattern as he's sitting there slamming the down button. No, I need out now, I need out now. As the turret slowly turns towards him. This isn't happening.
You just hear the turret.
Yeah. Get me out. Oh my god.
And keep in mind, I mean, so you've heard about the RPG thing I'm playing, about the town that's now a cult town. And so, yes, we drive tanks and we burn down the forest with planes because the higher-ups tell us to.
Burn down the forest. It's happy time.
And of course, remember the guy who built the mine shredders, who had been staring at a TV that was off for 20 years.
So you finally plugged it in and turned it on.
Well, no, I didn't. I got Carl to do it. And his response was, "My name's not Carl." So now his name is not Carl. So we got not Carl to do it.
There we go.
I like not Carl.
Just in case something bad happened. If he went on a psychotic rage there.
Yes, he went on a psychotic rant and built about 1,000 of them in one day while he was ranting. Just imagine. Oh, hey, it's built.
Oh, yeah. Well, let's go here with the last clip I actually have planned.
Okay.
I got some good ideas with the makings of the muddies for the medication expensive.
What?
I figured with the mass productions of the baby heads, I could do the sitting of them for the lazy mothers who not wants the kids during days of work.
You mean you're going to babysit children to make some money for your medication? Do you think that's wise?
Are you saying I'm unresponsible with the children's of peoples?
I'm not saying you're not responsible, just perhaps under the influence.
Under the influence of the monies of fun with purchasing power, plenty.
I don't want to be a part of this.
Then you better leave. The babies are here. So babies with the little body, big head. What would you like to do with the time of the no mommy? Oh, jeez, there's noise in the head. I knows what will stop the screeching of baby throats. Candies.
What the hell happened here? What's with all the dead babies?
They didn't like the candies of fun.
Candies? What candies?
The doctors give me these candies of special fun medication. Hi.
Let me see that.
Hi.
Take one every 24 hours to reduce nervousness and excitability. Do not administer to children under 25. Do not take more than 1 capsule a day. Dude, this is a high dose of tranquilizer.
So what?
How many did you give these kids?
Not 6 each, but 12.
12 each?
Yep.
These little fuckers are seriously dead, aren't they?
The baby heads are no more with the moving of life.
Let me get the broom. Damn, these little fuckers are hard to sweep up once they've hit rigor mortis.
Dad has gone through their minds with the sickle of medicated fear. Oh, I'm all out of candies.
Such a sad day when you're all out of candies. Ah, yes. Go ahead. It's perfectly acceptable. The dead baby heads.
Oh, God.
That was entitled Medicated Baby Heads. It's a Foamy the Squirrel episode.
Why? For some reason, dead babies just make me laugh.
Yeah, I understand.
It's like the Aeon song, I Lit Your Baby on Fire. I'm sorry.
What are you fucking sorry about, man? It's great. I loved it the first time I seen it. Ages ago.
Fantastic. No, I mean,
I sat there and waited, the 30 minutes for the damn video to fucking go through dial-up and get ready on the Flash site and watched it.
Oh, man, that's good. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah, and Foamy the Squirrel episodes are neurotically yours. Yeah.
I needed that. Thank you. Getting back, yes. So that definitely would not be as popular today, although there's still people like me who would laugh. And somebody heard me laughing at. Because we have to be so moral. You can't laugh at dead babies.
Ah, fuck you. You're faking it.
Exactly.
It's like, the whole entire... Oh, God. How anti-theists, how many of them are, so pro-socialist simply because they want to prove that they can make a paradise on Earth without God, thus disproving God. And not realizing every time you try socialism, it turns into a totalitarian regime that is nothing but suffering and pain.
It seems like the left doesn't understand the difference between fact and fantasy, which is, of course, something that the right has been, people who play D&D, lost in the game or whatever, because people have heard me laugh at I Lit Your Baby on Fire. What if that was your baby? How would you feel about that? But it's like, well, yeah, that would be different, but it's a joke.
Yeah, I know. It's like fucking shit.
And I know we mentioned that 1,000 times, and I know you're probably sick of mentioning it. I'm definitely sick of mentioning it, but people keep saying it. And so I haven't laughed that hard in about a month.
I know. It's glorious. Fuck. But it's like, we gotta be moral all the time and shun the things that made us laugh whenever we were kids. And even though we might still laugh at them, we have to prove that we are better than bloody. No, you don't. Because the more you try to prove it, the more people hate you. Sure, your little enclave is all approving because they're just as yuppie as you are, trying to prove that you're holier than thou. You're pulling a modern-day Pharisee with this. Regardless if you're of the faith or not, you're just pulling the same, look, my shit don't stink, and I know my shit, I know my morals here, blah.
And times change, so we can't laugh at anything. Have you actually heard woke comedy?
It's like a 2-hour lecture on the crimes that everyone else commits against the individual making the jokes.
With some terrible, unfunny jokes mixed in. It's as bad as Christian comedy, which is, kindergarten level jokes because you can't offend anyone. Woke comedy is the same thing, only it's just from a different point of view. Yes, I've actually tried woke comedy before. And
it just fucking sucks horribly.
It is terrible. It is awful. I've also tried that. There's a guy named Mike Warnke, who was he claimed he was an ex-Satanist. I don't remember if he wrote a book, but he was definitely a Christian comedian. And so you're saying get some of his Christian comedy stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I found some of his Christian comedy stuff on YouTube, and it was like an hour and a half of very basic kindergarten jokes about seafood, and then all of a sudden he would change his tone, get completely serious, and tell the story of little Amanda who was saved from the baby sacrifice pit at age 5, and that's why he needs donations. It was kind of amazing.
I see. I like the idea of the baby sacrifice pit, because you have to sit here and picture it. Okay, the entire thing was supposed to be just like this cask filled with dead babies that they kept someone pregnant in, so that they could have a baby and kill them, and then throw them back in the cask with their dead baby on top of all the other dead babies.
Yes. You saw the episode that I sent you, the Satan thing, where they had the Michelle Smith from Michelle Remembers, I think it was, on the show, and she was talking about all this shit. She wrote a book called Michelle Remembers. It was where she was a breeder for a satanic cult, allegedly, and yes, she was kept pregnant, locked in a thing with corpses of babies.
Yay, corpses of babies. Because you just gotta hang around with dead babies all the time.
It reminds me of Vorka.
Mm-hmm.
She gets pregnant just to eat her.
Yeah, she gets pregnant just to eat her young, and sometimes they crawl away.
Yes. So, that whole so. Yeah, woke comedies. I mean, thank fuck that things like violence and I mean, there's a particular video game channel that we both enjoy that, kills people horribly and stuff. And
it's called Let's Game It Out, and like this guy just goes out to try to make everyone's lives miserable in the game, and it's great.
I'm glad that's still popular.
You like broken glass with your pizza, right?
As she's trailing blood into the basement.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yes, we've spent many a day watching Josh just ruin everything. So at least that's still popular. But yes, things like I said, I can't see the dead baby thing being as popular, except with people like us.
Oh hell! Whenever I on my gaming channel, I fucking uploaded some gameplay footage from Fallout 4, and one of the stupid missions in the game is like you go to the memory den, remember the tragedy and all that. Well, instead of the tragedy, I spliced in me cheating at the fucking intro of the game so that I'd have weapons and the ability to attack and shit. And I wound up setting her baby on fire and her wife, then her wife holding the baby. And one of the scenes, the baby was missing. She was coddling nothing because that was the animation she was scheduled with at that time, you know, but there was no baby in her arms. So I don't know what I did, but it was hilarious. And like, of course, you know, we set people on fire, 8 children. It was great.
That's the memory.
That's how he remembers, you know, the pre-war time, the day the bombs fell. And everything's going to heck in a handbasket. And the way he remembered it was everyone ran into his house to punch him down. So he grabbed a fucking flamethrower and started torching them before they could punch him in his house. So in his mind, it was all defensive instead of, I have a flamethrower now. A dangerous psychopath, yes.
Yes. Did that really happen? Was it drugs? Who knows? But that's how he remembers it.
Yeah. And he set fire to the Vault Tech rep, even ate him once, and then, like, you know, he met him in the current day as a goal. So somehow he survived being set on, immolated, and cannibalized.
Immolated and cannibalized. Yes, I think that's quite funny. I mean, it's just I've never understood this, you know, trying to be moral. I guess I do understand because I went through a period of it before I met you, and then I went completely the other way, which you can hear all the old shows for that. But I went through a period, you know, where I was an atheist and I was constantly saying how better I was than Christians and how, you know, how much smarter I was.
Hey, you want to know something? You're human.
What?
Therefore, you cannot be better than anyone because you are human. Because being human means you instantly suck.
Humans suck. Exactly. So I went through a period of that. I mean, what snapped me out of it was A, meeting you. That helped, and B, just looking at the hypocrisy. I'll never forget that atheist girl. I mean, I forgot her name, but there was an atheist who killed a guy in a parking lot, and this atheist girl. I can't believe an atheist could do something like this. And that was like, for some reason, that stuck in my mind as something that kind of snapped me out. Like, do you think there's some sort of master race or something?
No, we had about 3 church arsons pretty close together, I think, within the same year. And the guy they busted for one of them was an atheist, and they tried to make it sound like it was a huge atheist cabal. Because this was like, you know, still height of the satanic panic.
Oh yeah, I've
so
heard.
Like, you know, the other side of it is, you know, we're going to blame everyone of this group because one of this group did it. And we don't quite understand this group.
Yes. Well, there was an epidemic of church arsons, if I remember correctly, around the country, to the point where even the president got involved. And Lords of Chaos quotes someone, you know, about that, who basically thought that the church needed to be more beautiful. And the way to make it more beautiful was to burn it down. I mean, I respect this. It's completely insane.
Yeah.
But so yeah, for some reason that's stuck in my mind. Like, why would you think that just because you agree with someone on some sort of theological or non-theological point, that the person wouldn't be a complete sociopath?
Yeah, I know. And it's you know, you agree on one thing. Wow. that doesn't mean everything else falls in the line that they... And I think that's another thing that the fucking wokies don't get. The fact that, yeah, they try to agree and belong to this crowd. They're going to have different life experiences, which leads to different viewpoints, which means the whole entire urge for them to be the top yuppie in charge, means that their version of being the top yuppie in charge is going to be quite different than yours, because even though they agree woke is the way, there's different applications of woke.
Yes, yes, and then they don't agree, so there's a war.
Mm-hmm. And someone has to be tarred and feathered and fucking get everything of theirs pulled from every fucking server ever because they said one thing that they disagreed with 30 years ago.
I mean, Crass wrote a great... I'm not a big fan of the whole anarchy and peace thing, mostly because I think it's bullshit. But Crass wrote a great song called Bloody Revolution about basically communists and people who want, a violent revolution to, remake the government in their own making. And they talk of freedom and things. I think Crass was saying, yes, but what are you going to do when people disagree with you?
Mm-hmm.
You're going to persecute them and kill them. So I always liked Crass because they took it to the righties and the lefties, and they made fun of both. And it's the same thing with the right. I mean, all the infighting and stuff is quite fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
And of course in the left, the infighting, one moment you're the king of the woke, and the next you're,
begging
called out for.
Yeah, you're giving blowjobs for $5 so you can get a cheeseburger.
Yes, that's not a scarring image at all.
Mm-hmm. I mean, and that's another thing, no one likes to forgive.
No,
you're
forgiveness...
screwed up once in your life and you can't forgive someone ever.
You did something stupid or had stupid beliefs, and I'm not saying you should forget that person used to be a Nazi or used to do, screwed up once or whatever, but people can change. I mean, there's the singer of a high-profile NS band who is now reformed and is now making children's videos about how to build bicycles and stuff because he saw the error of his ways and he wanted to do something better with his life. He even left, he got a job in Hollywood as a special effects guy and left that partially because his father was an alcoholic and he needed to take care of him. But he's now doing something useful. He's now working.
You see, that's one thing I don't get is, one thing I get why it's happening, I mean, but it's just one thing that still annoys the piss out of me is like how wokies cannot write a good redemption story. I get why, because you can't forgive, therefore why seek redemption? You only need to watch the person get destroyed, like, fucking Optimus Prime versus Megatron, fucking if he just blew up Megatron, evil would be over.
Yes.
You don't see, where mercy comes into play, where, trying to give the chance to let someone redeem themselves comes into play, where any of this, or even attempting to see things from the other perspective and then try to point out the flaws from their own point of view. That's forbidden because it all has to be, just the world the way I see it and not the way the world anyone else can possibly see the world. For I am the keeper of the one truth, the way, the word.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't read any good redemption stories in quite a while. Unless it's, real life stories.
Mm-hmm.
Because in real life...
I mean, the whole thing is they have to just destroy, and when in doubt, destroy some more. It's like such an exclusive club. Of course, they use the tagline, we're inclusive. No, you're not. If you were all inclusive, then, you'd tolerate differences of point of view and people making mistakes. Not punish them for saying something so minor and obscure ages ago, and now you have to completely destroy everything and make certain they starve to death. What the fuck's wrong with you?
Yeah, I mean that's, and I've actually seen better redemption stories in MCP than I have in like popular fiction, and I'm not even joking. There have been redemption stories where this person was a monster and used people, but tried to make it better. It's weird that porn has better stories than fiction. I mean, because of course everyone thinks porn is, you know.
Oh my God, you're over-sexualizing, bloody, blah. Meanwhile, everything's all... That's one breath, and then the second breath is, but you have to let people explore their sexuality. Okay, well, which is it? You can't ban it and embrace it at the same time.
That, and they also think porn is very simplistic, and it's just for people who, you know, they masturbate and then that's done. So that don't bother with the plot or anything like that.
Yeah.
That's another thing I've heard from the left. Whereas, I mean, I've read stuff that could pass for a good book, or, you know, for a good novel. It's just it has a lot of sex in it. Yeah, it's strange. I mean, I was always told that people could change, and again, I mean, you've had friends who had very dark beliefs, and
yeah, they were full-out Nazis, neo-Nazi bullshit, and I talked them out of it. It took me the better part of a decade, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, well,
and they changed their ideas and shit, and went on to do other things, and that was that.
The lead singer of another NS band, he was, you know, he finally realized, yeah, maybe this is pretty stupid. Of course, we also had a boot tattooed on his face, which is just asking for trouble.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a boot tattooed, fucking idiot. But yeah, that's what I never understood. The whole, I mean, and you'd think, because back when I was growing up, the left loved reform Nazis because it showed that people could change, and they were welcome to the fold, and they were actually held up as some sort of example as to how people could change. Whereas now, yeah, there's if someone tweets something, a joke, and there's moves to cancel them 11 years later or whatever, or somebody says something at 15 in an interview or something, it's weird. It's a weird. I also believe in giving people the benefit of the doubt. I mean, if you say you're no longer this until proven otherwise, I tend to trust you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like it's either that or just not trust anyone ever.
Yes, never trust anyone ever because reasons.
Because you know, well, they were once this. Well, yes, you once pissed your pants.
Yes, you once pissed your pants, and now we are gods.
I mean, I'm not saying that makes it right. I'm not saying that, you know, you should forget that they once, but again, people can change. I mean, I'm sure you don't have the same beliefs you had when you were 16.
Oh, hell no. God, no. Oh, fuck. Legalize murder.
Well, at 16, I believed that if the government were, you know, dispensed with, everyone would just sort of act in their own best interest.
Oh, God.
And people would, you know, volunteer for everything.
Volunteer for everything, because there's no money and no government, and la-di-da-di-da, and yeah, what bullshit.
And it would be, you know, sunshine and roses. That's honestly what I thought. I thought that anarchy and peace was a thing.
Meanwhile, I wanted to legalize murder because I thought that would lead to the peace thing, you know. Because the reasoning was because being afraid of the state doing things to you, you know, that just galvanizes people against the state, and then, like, you know, other people want to come in and get your shit, you know, and all that, and that's what was the cause of it. But if we legalized murder, Now you're afraid of your neighbor going out and dismembering your son because he shoplifted. So, that's why you don't do anything, because you're afraid that, because now that it's legal to do it, you're afraid your neighbors are going to take direct action. The whole time not paying attention to historical examples. Whenever the police collapsed in an area, anarchy ensued and people were just murdering each other, setting things on fire and looting.
Yes.
I mean, there was like, it was in Canada ages ago. I think like 1970s, 1980s. That they had a police strike. Whenever that happened, there were fucking riots in the street, assault, a few murders. Because there was no law, people were like, well, I'm not forbidden from doing it now.
Yep, and look at New York in the 70s. It wasn't a police strike, but the police couldn't do anything about it. And look at, New York in the 70s and 80s. Or Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to know what Detroit was like, just watch the original RoboCop.
Oh, yeah. They did a good job of what Detroit was kind of like at the time.
Yes.
And they said it was in the super future, but it was accurate for Detroit at the time the film was made.
Scary, scary place.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it's... So, yeah, I don't believe what I believed when I was 16. And, again, I'm a lot younger than you are, so people can change their beliefs. I mean, I don't even believe the stuff I believed 6 years ago when we started this show. You remember I tried way too hard to go to the other side and be... I was actually edgy at the time. I now understand what edgy was because I was edgy.
Mm-hmm.
I attempted to... Yeah.
Embrace everything that was against the things that, like...
Yes.
You were
just
against.
Comes off as fucking cringe.
Yeah.
Whereas these days, I think I'm a little more balanced.
The whole thing is in that urge to be, fucking, oh, what the hell's the word? I know the word. Irreverent. There we are. In our urge to be irreverent, there were things that we said that are like, okay, it's bullshit now.
Well, I mean...
Because, no sacred cows. I mean, even the things that... Because, even things that I value, things that I would normally consider sacred, there has to be this point where you can't sit there and say, but this is what's protected, whenever everything should be dissected, mocked, ridiculed, whatever.
Yes, but I think you can be... I think you can do it in such a way that it works. Whereas I don't think the early episodes... I think we were more or less just running on pure, spite, basically.
Yeah, that was pretty much it.
And yeah, if you listen, we champion shit that, I listen to it now, I'm like, what are you doing, man? Well, I went further than you because I said some stuff and you're like, yeah, it's cool.
Yeah. But it's shit that happens, you can listen to them change. Because, part of the reason that I mean, it was one of the more minor reasons. Reason one was because it was fun, interesting, and all that, But another thing was, I have the parenting instincts because I missed out on raising my own. And here's a kid that was in adulthood that needed some guidance to realize the things that I took too long to figure out. So I pushed him in that direction.
Yes. So yeah, I still believe in no sacred cows, but I think it needs to be done in a more smarter way.
Yes, you have to actually use your brain for 5 seconds.
My brain?
Yes, that thing that you tried killing with all those drugs. I know, I tried killing my own with all those drugs. So many illicit substances, so much fun.
Yes, until not fun. Until it becomes...
Actually, it would still be fun, but I had to be responsible, so I couldn't do them as much, and then I stopped because there was no one around to do it with anymore, because I cut a lot of people out of my life. Because
Yes.
most of the people that I partied with were just there because they were fun to party with. The ones that I kept them, and I cut those out, and I kept the ones that I partied with, but I could also do things that weren't partying with, you know. And we could go and hang out and do things, you know.
Yes. I of course, I stopped when my friend was killed and the whole scene broke up, and
Yeah.
I do get drunk and high every now and then, though. Just weed. It's legal now.
Yay, legal.
And you've heard me stoned. I remember someone had the bright idea. Why don't you guys get drunk and do a show, or why don't you guys get high and do a show? You've heard me when I was stoned. How much sense did I make?
Not much.
And then the things are things.
Well, he had me on fucking painkiller because I had a tooth pulled. You heard that. And the cat just, oh my god.
The cat, like, sucked my thumb. You were with it enough to join the stream, and to keep joining streams when his computer died. But yeah, I remember. I don't know if we were in contact regularly then, but I remember messaging like a month or two later. Do you remember that night? And you're like, no.
No,
so
not
I
really.
sent you the audio of it.
And it was embarrassing.
I still listen to it every now and then.
Do 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 do.
I think it's hilarious.
Yes, it's what works.
Well, and I've also been.
But there's so many inside jokes too that only people that know me would get.
Well, yeah, that's yes, inside jokes are only funny to people who actually understand it.
Mm-hmm.
Yellow.
Yellow is the color of piss. There was that one dude that tried to. He had the key to getting AI to figure out what was what by trying to see the world how a blind man saw it, and his question was, "How do you see yellow?"
He was trying to make an interesting point. He was just way too high. Because his point was that I have no concept of colors, which is true. I have a concept of them in that, like, I understand what these words mean, but I don't actually know literally, like, what red is, or I don't even know what color blonde's supposed to be, like blonde hair. But the way he was saying it was, stoner. If your average stoner tried to be a philosopher, and he just said it so.
So you mean your average stoner being an average stoner?
Yes, an average stoner, or me trying to write a paper. So the way he described it was very just strange. So we basically took the piss out of him for an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Which I kind of feel bad for. Now.
Every now and then we remember yellow, though, and that's our inside joke.
Yellow.
Yellow is the color of piss.
It also works good as a Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy reference.
Yes.
Yellow.
Mm-hmm.
But, oh god. So yes, I'll occasionally do it. But yes, someone said that we should do a show on acid.
Oh god.
I
remember back in the day, me and my one buddy, Stern, we decided to get a videotape rolling because we always had the greatest conversations when we were on acid. And we recorded ourselves having this conversation. And the conversation was deep. It covered everything. And we discovered everything there was to discover about the meaning of life and shit. So
you listened to it the next day after you guys had
agreed. We talked about it and we're like, yeah, we're finally going to see all the crazy shit that we did. And the video was all the conversations we agreed we had in that span of time, it was 2 hours of us laughing at the stereo. Occasionally one of us would say, like, and then her butt.
And I want to stress this. You guys listened to the whole thing.
Mm-hmm. The full 2 hours. There has to be something somewhere. No, there wasn't. It wasn't just us looking at the first 5-10 minutes. No, we watched the full 2-hour video, and it was like, dear God.
I will pay money if someone can unearth that tape.
I mean, the last 5 minutes were even us leaving the room saying, oh yeah, we could go out to the bar now. And that was like the most intelligent thing we could do. And then we left to go to the bar. And that was the last 5 minutes. So we knew the conversation had concluded.
So the one cool thing about weed being legal is you can adjust the dose, whereas before you just took what you got. So I do 5 milligrams and 10 milligram gummies, and one time I had 3 10 milligram gummies, and I honest to fuck thought, you are the blasphemy. I took way too much, and I haven't done that since high school basically, and I went into this meltdown mode where I thought I was a zombie, and then Jim appeared on a motorcycle, and all he said was, you are the blasphemy, and then he revved his motorcycle. You are the blasphemy. Revved his motorcycle. You are the blasphemy. Just over and over again, for like 90 minutes straight. That's what I heard.
Doo-doo-doo. We're sorry. Elliot is fucked up right now. Please hang up and try again. Doo-doo-doo.
You are the blasphemy. Meanwhile, I was experiencing I don't know, it's not visual hallucinations, but feeling hallucinations where I felt like a zombie. I could feel my skin rotting off. But at the same time, I thought I was on a Skype call with you, and that you were trying to make a point to me, but all I could hear was you were the blasphemy. It turns out we weren't on a Skype call. So I don't think that would have been a good episode.
No, I don't think that would have been a good episode of anything.
So how are you today, Elliot? Go away! I don't want to be the blasphemy anymore!
Okay, but you are. Not even knowing what it was a reference to, I would have been like, okay, but you are.
I did not feel inspired. One time I did a 10 milligram one, which is... So 5 is enough to get me feeling nice and jolly. 10 is the one you heard, Jim, when we were doing Fallout 4, when I was stoned out of my gourd. And 30 is when I was incapable of human speech. Because I was the blasphemy. Anyway, so I did 10, and I felt really inspired. And we did a show. We played a game last year called Pathfinder Kingmaker. So I felt really inspired, and I was seized with an inspiration that Octavia, the half-elf slave girl thing, and my personal favorite character, was actually the mastermind behind Kingmaker. So I wrote down like 10 pages of this stuff on Notepad, right? And I thought that I had cracked the secret of Kingmaker, because I was incredibly inspired.
If you can hear that laughter, if my mic's actually picking it up, my mom's just stoned out of her mind. And pissed off because the internet doesn't work.
That would piss me off. I would like to read you a sample of what I had written.
Okay.
Oh my god, dude. Like, she is so the master behind Gargle, Flurgle, Bloomburgle, from Hamburger with French fries, Cheeseburger in Kingmaker. I want to eat a battle cattle from Fallout.
Battle cattle.
12 pages of this. 12 pages of And I thought I was writing something, magnificent, that I had figured out the secrets of the game. Murgle, Flurgle, Murgle, Spruggle?
Spurgle.
Yes, so doing a show drunk or high is not a good idea. Her butt. I mean, maybe like one or two beers, fine, but
Yeah.
I know people who can do comedy on acid, and my hat goes off to those people
Yeah.
because I can get ideas on acid or on pot or whatever, and I've come up with some ideas for some good shows on pot, but I could never execute them well.
We saved a live burning baby to eat up with dog shit gravy, singing praise the Lord and pass the ammunition. Praise the Lord and pass the ammunition.
Yes, that's poetry right there. So there's I was looking at various, as you said, there used to be autopsy photos on the internet. Autopsy photos of famous people were a big hit. I know Dave Brocky tried to find Princess Diana's autopsy photo.
Yeah.
Because he's just that kind of weirdo. Yes. It's the same with people who, shows have to be written on weird shows or whatever. Oh, that must be written on drugs. One show, I know they tried they took acid once and tried to write an episode, and they spent 5 hours watching a fly.
Yes, 5 hours watching a fly makes perfect sense.
Yes. In early episodes, when we were getting back to early episodes were much more rage-fueled, but I've been trying to get back into the whole I'm pissed off mentality, but I seem to be more reflective than pissed off recently. Maybe that's just getting older. I don't know. Maybe something will happen that will piss me off, but it just seems, I don't know,
murderous.
It seems like I take stuff a lot less personally. I used to, my music taste is under attack from these people. Fuck them. I'm gonna go, fuck them. I hate Shane Mathis or whatever the fuck. And I was just gonna go off the deep end and go completely the other way. And these days, it's just, I don't care. I know that whatever they say, nothing's going to stop me from listening to music. I'm still going to call them out on it. I'm not just gonna.
Yeah, when they go off on idiot land. The problem with metal is metalheads. Go fuck yourself.
Yes, I mean, I still think that's idiotic, and I'm still going to call them out. But I'm not going to take it. I don't take it so personally anymore. I used to take it basically as a personal offense, and I used to.
I mean, and even going back to all that shit, my main thing was I thought the entire idea behind metal was to encounter the ideas you disagreed with, see where you truly stand on things. Sometimes you agree, most of the time you still disagree, but you actually get to explore the idea and see another point of view. I thought that was the point of being a metalhead. And yes, that meant you had large-scale debate. It wasn't all about just agreeing on everything, including, oh, wow, what bands are awesome. Fucking shit, I knew someone that was a metalhead that fucking sat there and said Slayer was too weak for them.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I know
they shit on Slayer, but we're all supposed to love Slayer. No, we're not.
Well, and people, when the singer for the band Nightwish, which is a symphonic metal band from Finland, said that she didn't like Slayer because it just sounded like noise to her. People got all up in arms about it, and I'm like, of course, she's playing a much more melodic and symphonic style of metal, so something like Slayer would kind of seem anathema to her. I understand that concept. Do I agree? No, I love Slayer, but I'm not going to jump down her
Yeah, and
throat because of
Slayer's got more complex harmonies and shit that sometimes you just need a trained ear to hear.
sometimes sometimes it's just not for people, which fine. I mean, do I agree? No, but I'm not going to. But then do you remember that? Then it goes completely the other way. I still hate anti-elitists. That's the one thing I still hate because they're so.
What, you're not going to search for the best music to listen to. You're just going to sit there and say everything is good.
And then if anyone questions them, then they feel personally attacked. But these people put themselves in a place to be attacked. So there was this girl who called herself the Red-Headed Nerd. I believe she's deleted her blog because anyway, we read a post by her. It's the picture. It's the one featuring Jim in a dress. The thumbnail with Jim in a dress. If you haven't gouged your eyes out looking at that picture, and the thrust of the article was that elitist metalheads were mean and evil. Okay, because she liked power metal bands like Powerwolf and Sabaton, which I also like, but she would post on metal sites about that and how she didn't like black or death metal or thrash metal, and people would call her out on it, and she could not take criticism at all, to the point where so I'll admit I was a dickhead, and I said something about, well, Star Wars isn't really nerdy because it's mainstream or something like, when the people were, I said something about Star Wars was too it was too mainstream to be nerdy or something, and she actually broke down into tears because of that comment. So she could not take criticism well, but she put herself out there to be criticized.
Yeah.
Somebody on Reddit found her post and just said, well, why are you hanging out with these people online if you don't like what they have to say? Don't go on this website. Which I thought was actually a pretty sensible advice. And she took it as being cyberbullied.
Oh, God.
See, you can't say it like, you have to cyberbullied.
Oh, yeah. I'm so cyberbullied. Everyone has to think exactly like I do.
If I am on a site that I disagree with, or that I don't like, or if I don't like the people on the site, you know what I do, Jim?
I don't go there.
I don't go on the site. I leave the Facebook group or the whatever.
It's like, you get your 30, 40 something stuck in this teenager mentality of, I gotta belong somewhere. Instead of doing the adult thing and just forging out your own place to exist, you have to belong to some other larger group instead of forming your own group of friends and family and, people you want in your life, and then just ignoring the people you don't want in your life. No, you have to belong to this much larger global scale group. And it just reminds me of, like, you want to be one of the jocks or one of the preps or, whatever the hell the cool kid is of the age.
I still call myself a metalhead.
Mm-hmm.
Because I am. But I don't care about belonging to the world. I mean, I like being in metal groups, as you know, because I like talking about metal. But I never feel like that's like some sort of big family or like I hate the word brother, okay? King Fowley is literally the only one who's allowed to call me brother. Which he did. I will give him a pass. Because he's him. But
well, I call you the bastard son I never wanted.
Yeah, but that's different. I always equated the whole brother thing with, like, it always sounded like Boy Scouty for me. Because I don't. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Jim, but you're not my brother.
On one of the fucking SmackDown versus Raw games, we created a stable because they had like several different versions of Hulk Hogan.
Oh yeah, well,
So we put them all into the same stable, and we called them Fistful of Brothers. No,
Well-
yeah, it's brothers, or whatever the hell. It was
Hulk
hilarious
Hogan-
because every time you went on there, let me tell you, brother, this was happening, brother, and that was happening, brother.
Yeah. For those of you who don't know, Hulk Hogan was a very annoying wrestler.
Especially during his, face days, which was his, when everyone remembers his prime. I like to remember the NWO because they at least had him do something that's like, oh, wow, he actually has some dynamic to him.
Yeah.
Where, he'll run people over with a truck. That's good.
The funny thing is, I've known of several wrestling fans, and nobody liked Hulk Hogan. At least none of the fans. He was. The people who liked him were like the preppy people, basically.
And the yuppie kind of people saying that I have to root for the good guys.
Yes.
Just that's your average John Cena fan.
Oh God! Don't give me. Oh God. See, you knew him as a wrestler. I knew him when he tried to act.
Yeah.
So yeah, I generally shy away from the whole brother thing, although metalheads are brothers. No, we're not. I like metal and you like metal, so we can talk about metal, but we might disagree with nine things out of 10.
Did you piss off an overpass onto a fucking convertible with its top down? Couldn't have. If I had tried to do it, I wouldn't have been able to. I was actually just standing up there screaming. I have discovered myself in pissing off the fucking overpass, and didn't even notice that until after it passed. It's like, oh shit, run, hide, because they sped around to fucking find us. Had to hide in the cemetery that we always got stoned at.
If you ever, if anyone listening out there can find a copy of Stay Ugly, King's book, you have to read the last night he drank, where he was at IHOP and he saw some women eating pasta, and he said, "Oh, they must be lesbians because they're eating pasta at an IHOP." So he puts his dick on the window and says, "Here's some real meat." And that's just one of the things he did. And then the day after, he's like, you know what? I'm probably going to get myself killed if I keep doing this. And I like living too much.
Yes, we enjoy living.
Then again, he also did like 80 lines of coke every night when he was a kid. So I read that, and I even messaged you. I was like, this guy should be dead.
Yeah, well, how many times should you have been dead?
Oh my God. Where am I? You're at your friend's house. Really? Well, where's the party starting? You blacked out before the party started. You attempted to do a knife trick. We had to pull the knife away from you because you're blind and drunk and trying to do a fucking knife trick.
Yeah. Oh, no hands, see?
So what it was you take the dull end of the knife, the side opposite the blade, and you put it on your dick, and you pretend to cut your dick off.
Except with you being both intoxicated and blind, you would have actually done it.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Thankfully, Pretty in Pink saw where I was going, and she's like 5'0", right? But she was very quick and tackled me to the ground. So anyway, I woke up across town at a friend's house.
Hoorah.
12 hours later. So, yes, how many times should I have been dead? How many times should you have been dead?
I don't know. Fuck. I had a sword fight in my backyard while we were both tripping. But at least he who shall not be named was with it enough to know that whenever I started taking it way too serious, I said, okay, we're going to stop now.
What about the time where you dared an M80 to kill you?
Mm-hmm. Well, I thought it was a smoke bomb. Then I was mocking Jeff for, thinking it was an M80. It had the wick out of the side, which is, I was used to smoke bombs having the wick out of the side, not an M80. But that's all it was an M80 with the wick out the side. So lit it, and I started dancing around it. I did take the precaution of staying a little bit of a way, just in case he was right. And yeah, he was right. It blew up and made me fall on my ass.
Or the time when allegedly people who allegedly people who might be acquaintances of mine decided to make a nail bomb.
Yeah, I remember making one of those, and we detonated it, and we said never again. It was because we were smart enough to test our own products.
Yes.
But we were not smart enough to know what we should not do, because we're fucking antisocial teenagers. So we made one, tested it, and because the shrapnel went all unpredictable directions, we're like, no.
a girl who told me, no, get back. But I want to see. No. This is the stupidest idea ever. Get back as far as you can. So she saved me that day.
Yeah.
Because that is literally the stupidest idea ever.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to tell you kids what to do, except don't do that. That is fucking... Or the time where your friend decided to make an AK-47 full auto.
Yeah, you just shaved the spring a little.
Yeah. What happened?
And it went blah, 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 and just kept going till the entire drum of 100 rounds or 50 rounds or something. It was an insane clip, And it got depleted, and the only thing he could do, because it wasn't stopping after he pulled his finger off the trigger, was aim it somewhere generally safe. And me and Jeff decided to hide behind a log, which he didn't blame us for because we didn't know if it would jam and blow up.
Yeah. That's... How scary was that?
Oh, it was terrifying. And, terrifying enough for me and Jeff, who were observers of this, to fucking hide behind a log. And, goddamn, he who shall not be named was, fucking pissing his pants, too, because he didn't know what the fuck would happen. He just tried to force himself to aim it somewhere away from people, and it wound up cutting down a small tree.
Oh, God. Yeah.
With bullets. And then immediately after, we're like, okay, we're done, we're leaving.
Yes. Right now.
Yeah, as soon as it was all over, it's like, we're done, we're leaving. We had a full day planned. This was one of the first things we did. And we left before we did anything else.
I would too.
Oh, yeah.
I would probably just go home and read a book.
And then he went to metal shop and filed the thing down into nothingness because he wanted no evidence of this ever happening. So whatever he spent on the weapon, it's now no more. It's like fucking metal dust.
Yes. And so, yes, I think all of us should be dead at least.
Multiple times over.
Yes.
Beer bongs filled to the brim with vodka. That should kill you. I did several.
I wandered around on pot that was laced with something. I think it might have been dust.
PCP, I'm invincible.
Dear God, I'm so glad nobody grabbed me. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Could you imagine blind and dusted?
I know.
So
no one would have been safe because you wouldn't know who you were attacking half the time unless they made a sound.
I've told this story before, but I want to tell it again just to demonstrate how stupid I was. My first drug experience. So Puke gave me some pills, and by the way, I didn't ask what they were. I just gobbled them, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he's like, yeah, this will get. You've been high before, right? Oh, totally, dude. I know what I'm doing. Well, you know what these are, right? Oh yeah, I recognize the shape. Fucking idiot. So
Mm-hmm.
anyway, I take it, and so they're having no effect on me.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to tell Pugh that they have no effect on me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to tell him that. I'm going to tell him that. So 5 decades later, it feels like I open my mouth. Dude, these have no effect on me. Because clearly I probably should have taken like one, and I took
Mm-hmm.
5.
Yeah.
Puke had gone, by the way. He had gone to get some beer from the store and left Pretty in Pink to keep an eye on me because he had told me he was going to the store 5 times and I hadn't responded because I was off in my own world trying to tell him that these things weren't working. So his comment was, yeah, I don't know what's wrong with him. He's probably not going to get up, but just keep an eye on him because he's not responding to me at all.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that was... And then there was the time... You've done this and I've done this. So, some guy is you did. Well, I think you did like what 4 hits of acid. I think.
Yeah,
Or you were
my
supposed to
first
do
time.
1 and
I was supposed to do 2 my first time, and I wound up doing 4.
yes, I did a paper. So, a guy gives me a paper and he's like, "Here, you've done acid before, right?" No, but I get the general hit. Okay, cool. Take 1 and I'll be back later. We can hang out, right? So I do. So he comes back. So are you enjoying the acid? Yeah, it's kicking in. It's gonna be really good. Cool. Well, can I have a hit? Where's the rest of it? What do you mean the rest of it? Well, yeah, you were supposed to like a you just took a square, right? A tiny little square. What? No, I took the full paper. Oh my god. So 2 hours later, I was having a conversation with Satan. And by Satan, I mean the floor. Because the floor was saying,
That's great.
yes. Whereas you just heard music and stuff, which is also, yes.
The music's real. The person accompanying it isn't. When it was the other way around.
Well, I remember. I can remember someone asking me if I wanted chips, but I didn't know if they were real or not, so I didn't answer.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want some chips? It turned out to be one of my old party friends. I think he's fucked up. Why? He doesn't seem to recognize me. Dude, is that person real?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Is anything real?
If you're going to do acid when blind, even when you're sighted, you should probably have someone to watch over you.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
I mean,
you need that babysitter to keep it going.
Yes, and to make sure you don't do anything stupid.
And it will always be something stupid, like the dead baby heads.
Dead baby heads.
Oh, God. If it weren't for me being paranoid about my cat, I might have actually heard it. But the fact that I was always paranoid that I would hurt it, I didn't. I've talked to it many times in helpful conversations with my cat, though.
earlier this year, we were at Laguna Seca. We decided to take our two dogs, right? A dachshund and a Belgian Malinois. We took the so. I'm really good at because the big one likes to lay in the middle of the floor, and I'm good at not stepping on him when I'm barefoot, but because I can feel where he is and I can step around him. But with shoes on, I'm not as able to feel. So I accidentally sort of trod on his foot when he was laying in the middle of the floor, and so he yelped a bit and moved out. So anyway, later that day, I thought it'd be a good idea to get high around my parents, which is I know you've done that before, but I still consider that just wrong. So anyway, I do a 10 milligram thing. I should have done 5, but I did 10. So I'm off of my gourd and like super cold for some reason. Anyway, I had to go to the bathroom, and the big dog is laying there where I had stepped on him a couple hours ago, and I was so nervous about stepping on him that I think I spent like 5 minutes attempting to walk around him. Keep in mind, I was stoned out of my gourd, and I was like, no, I don't want to step on you, buddy. I don't want to step on you. I was so hyper paranoid.
Oh yeah.
Meanwhile, I probably should have just touched him and he would have moved. My favorite though, there's one time I got stoned with my dad that was interesting, where I swear I heard South of Heaven by Slayer being played in the campground. Not from any speaker, just around the air. I could hear. Yeah. Just and I turned to him and goes, "Can you hear the music?" He's like, "Yeah, you're fucked up." Because he'd done it before. Yeah, so I literally heard it wasn't coming from. We were at a racetrack, so there's a PA. It was late at night, but it wasn't coming from a speaker. It was just coming from around the campground in my mind. And the song didn't progress, but it just endless over and over again. Can you hear the music?
Yeah. Oh my god.
It was so beautiful too. I was like, wow, they're singing to me. So you've had conversations with your cat while high, huh?
Yes, full conversations. I don't know what about. And the worst part was, Puskers could actually kind of meow in a way that sounded like it was trying to say things.
Yes.
He could say in, out, pet, and food.
Oh, yes. Yes, my cat. Yes. So, I tried something, and I woke up 2 days later, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
So what happened? Well, I left you in a room, and when I came back, you were petting a cat. Okay? Except there was no cat. But I could feel. So I thought I was petting a cat and playing with the cat, because I could feel the cat reacting to me, right?
Mm-hmm.
I could hear it meow and purr, and I could feel it, claw me, and, I was petting it. There was no cat. I was petting imaginary cats.
Petting imaginary cats.
Which I believe you said, which is good, because you would have probably hurt a real cat if you were to pet it while high.
Yeah.
But yes, I was playing with an imaginary cat. So speaking of the whole druggy thing and getting back to our thing about what the internet used to be, I remember reading old Metal Archives forums before they got, all woke. And there were people who chronicled their meth-fueled adventures. I think even that's a little bit too risque for the internet, at least for the mainstream internet these days. Because if you look on, YouTube, you'll find an endless amount of, LSD, advice videos. But stuff like meth and PCP is still definitely a no-no.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Nah, fuck. I mean, God. Just half the drug stories and shit and crazy shit that happened during the druggy years. Fuck.
they're good stories. That's why people beg for them. That's why we did war stories without the war.
Mm-hmm.
You know, people. I've literally been, hey, give me the video where Jim went to a guar show, or the video where Jim was, I forget who you dressed up as that one time, but yeah, Jim Morrison.
No, I looked like Jim Morrison. I used to a young Jim Morrison when I was younger, so I fucking used his picture as my first profile pic. I just colored his eyes blue.
I think you outlived him by a couple of years.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I've been give me the one where Jim does this, or the one where you do that. I mean, so I'm dating someone, as I believe I mentioned, and I met her family this year, and her friends. Oh, tell us the story. Tell us the story again about the time you robbed a graveyard, or the
Mm-hmm.
And as you said, I mean, you don't feel that your stories are that interesting because it was just Tuesday for you.
Mm-hmm. And that's a huge thing, you know. Is the fact that, yeah, this was an average Tuesday to me, but to someone else it was damn near apocalyptic fun.
Yeah, I mean...
Because they've been nowhere near these things, and it's like, really? You're that sheltered?
Yes. I mean, I like them because I think they're funny. I have been, to those things, but I like to hear similar stories. But yes, there are people who, oh my God, he's really lived, and I'm like, well, I mean, he's had adventures, but he hasn't even been out of the state.
Not that much.
Yeah, but...
I mean, hell, most of my ventures were long before I even left the state for anything. In fact, I really didn't... There was the one time I went to Ohio, and this was during a fucking camping trip with Jeff and Stern. And we went to, what was it? Geauga Lake.
Mm-hmm.
And that was it. That was our extent going into Ohio. And, yeah, that was fun. The mind eraser erased my brain because I was on so much acid. The real fun was back at the campsite, which was just here in PA, and fucking shit, like, we just sat there laughing at the stereo, and chicks came up because they knew something had to be going on, and, like, we ended up picking up, like, several dates and shit. Just because we were sitting there laughing at the stereo. And then, like, we would always go out in the woods for firewood whenever we woke up. And then when we came back with a few twigs and maybe, a branch and shit, we're laughing and carrying on the whole time after.
I don't know what it is, but girls seem weirdly interested in your stories. Like, except for the one who was afraid of you. Every girl I've talked to and dated, well, about the one who wants you to swear more, and then the other. Yeah, for some reason, girls seem fascinated by your stories. Some sort of, like, dark side fetish, I think. I don't know.
I don't know. But, it's like we were walking through the woods during this camping trip. And Jeff was like, it would be really nice if they just had a bench right here. And then Stern went on this huge tirade, like, we're out in the middle of the woods, blah, blah, blah. We're not even on a path, blah, blah, blah. They wouldn't just put a bench right here. And we turned around the tree, and there was a bench right there. And all I did was laugh. Because for some reason, my warped mind, Jeff's words made it real.
Yes. That makes complete sense.
Even though we probably just turned right back onto the path and, like, they had a bench there because it's one of the main paths through the woods. His words made it real.
Exactly. His words made it real, just like you're the god of the ants.
Yes, I am God of the ants. They are in their fearful phase now. Soon they will come to worship me. And then they did leave homage at my feet. Sober people attested to it.
Yeah, I mean, back when I was with the puke gang, it was I mean, we didn't go out all the time. I remember one time, some guy. So we were supposed to go to a show. It was a local band, and I think a national band, although the name escapes me at the moment. So we were supposed to go to this show, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I love going to live shows, but a friend showed up with some demos we hadn't heard and some weed. So we smoke up and we listen, and I get the idea, hey, should we be going to the show? And the one relatively sober girl, dude, it's been 7 hours, right? What do you mean? It's only 4. No, it's 11 o'clock it's 11 o'clock at night. You missed the show. You were so entranced by the music and the weed that you actually missed going to the show. Oh, let's go to Taco Bell.
Yeah, exactly.
So I get a friend who played in one of the local bands. Why weren't you at the show, man? I got too stoned to go. That's respectable.
Yeah. That happens all the fucking time, too.
But
I remember the first Oz Fest, it's like there was a few guys passed out on the lawn leading in, and we were already there late. We had missed some of the opening acts and shit. And it's like those were the people that almost made it, but they partied too hard, and they couldn't even get past the door.
But it was also very good music as well. I do remember that. I remember the demos, Classified Protest, and a couple others. So it was very good music. But yes, that and the weed made it so that I thought it was which is weird because usually time moves super slow on weed. But for some reason, the music was so interesting that oops.
Bing, bing, bing. We're sorry. Your mind has been disconnected from reality. Please dial and try again.
For the time when somebody dosed puke, he was crowd surfing and someone opened his mouth and thrust. Now, I had a small piece of paper, right?
Mm-hmm.
Of acid. Someone put a whole piece of paper of acid in his mouth. So I get a call from Pretty in Pink. I'm worried about puke. Why? What's wrong? Well, it's been like 5 days and he's lost the ability to speak. What do you mean? I mean, well, he's making noises. He's just not saying words.
For 5 days.
Yes. But he thought he was saying words.
Yes. Falsify your memories. You didn't even mean to. It just happened. Too many drugs at the time.
Yes, it's not. Yeah. It's not. No one was playing. Because now I dabble in hypnosis as well. Which people have been asking me about.
See, I remember whenever Bob he sat there for a while and started telling us how fucking awesome smoking crack was.
Oh, God.
Okay. And I'm like, okay, whatever. Well, we were in college at the time and we were about to go back for the semester. And the first thing I did was I figured out how to go in the system and get his password before he could set it for his email and shit. And then I set his prompt, just to say, I smoke crack. And this was something he wanted to hide from the people he hung out with at college. So, whenever he logged on, it said, I smoke crack.
You're Bob Smoke Crack?
Yeah.
I had a friend who's happened to be named Bob as well. Picture Beavis or Butthead from Beavis and... Picture the dumb one from Beavis and Butthead.
Butthead.
Okay, picture Butthead. Sorry, I'm blanking. Yeah, picture Butthead from Beavis and Butthead. Only
Beavis was about fire. Butthead was just... that's cool.
Yes, so picture Butthead, but in real life with real life consequences.
Excellent.
If I may, Jim, can I would like to quote from the Holy Book of Bob. I smoke crack and no, I'm sorry. He never told anyone he smoked crack, but he would show people like my teeth fell out. And that's how he talks. That's how he talks.
Oh,
and
God.
He was like losing teeth and shit.
It's like, I'm just remembering the time Bob and I... What happened was, okay, Jeff went to pick us up, and it was me, Bob, Jeff, Stern, and like, Jeff said, okay, well, we're going to go somewhere. And both Bob and I yelled at shotgun, and I got in the passenger seat first, so Bob started yanking my hair. So while he was yanking my hair, I slammed his arm in the door to get him to let go as hard as I could. And he finally let go after like 3 times. And then I got out. And everyone's waiting for us to throw down. And Jim's going to fucking deal the final blow and shit because he's pissed now. I wasn't pissed because the first thing I did was burst out in laughter and say, oh my God, could you imagine if someone else was watching that? How hilarious this would be. Because think about it, we're having a knockdown, drag-out fight over who gets shotgun. We're actively maiming each other. So, of course, Stern gets shotgun, and Bob and I sit in the back seat.
That sounds about right. So, Bob would do stupid things to make us laugh. He would have set himself on fire if we asked him to. But, yeah. That's how he talks.
Well, there were a few times, because, you know, back in the day, I loved wearing my torn jeans. Metalhead, torn jeans. They go together. And I'm on Jeff's back porch, and we're getting high, and there were a few times where he just bust out his Zippo and set my frayed ends on fire. Normally, I'd pat it out in time, but one time, I was so ripped and in the middle of a bong hit that I didn't notice he did it, that my pants went up in flames, and I'm just running around screaming, I'm on fire, through his backyard while he's laughing at me. And I totally forgot stop, drop, and roll. And when I did, I might have rolled in some dog shit. I don't know. I didn't smell it, but it felt a little muddy at one point, and I thought that was dog shit. Oops. But, you know, I got the fire out finally. And we went back partying like nothing had happened because, you know, being set on fire, that's just one of the risks you take in life. Only good friends can set me on fire. Anyone else, they will die.
Only a good friend can shoot you in the ass, apparently, as well.
Oh, that was another thing, too. This is before we even did drugs because Jeff was flirting with this girl, and he had to go to the pisser, so he gave me the phone. So I started talking. I don't even know what the hell I said to her. I know I was talking smack on him the whole time. And, like, he overheard it, so he went over and grabbed the crossbow that we had won from the county fair and loaded it with a bolt. And, like, hit it behind his back. He's like, Jim, I'm gonna kill you. And I was like, oh, she says that you're gonna she's gonna dump you if you kill me. I'm gonna maim you, Jim. And he pulls out the crossbow, loads it. And it's like, she says that you're going to... Oh, no, 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 no! Plink! Ah, that fucking hurts. That fucking hurts. He shot me with a crossbow bolt in the ass. There was a tape of this. He had it for the longest time. He might have been buried with it whenever he died. But god damn, that was hilarious. He shot me in the ass with a crossbow. And like, the whole thing was... The reason we had the tape was... I was like, you know, I was going to record us. I just recorded us, you know, for no reason. Or thinking we'd get something funny from us or something. And, like, it was and most of it was just us talking, watching TV. But at the end, that's what played, you know. You know, so after, you know, about, like, 20 minutes of nothing, and then overhearing his end of the conversation with his girlfriend, and then overhearing me and his girlfriend. Then it turned into that, and it was great. I don't even know what possessed me to hit record because we weren't on drugs at the time.
I'm just picturing if she says if you do this, bing. Ah!
No, you got to get it right because I realized what he was going to do. No. Then it went quiet for like a split second. Then you hear pink. Ah, that fucking hurts. He shot me in the ass with the cross, and I had to pull it out and shit. It was just a dead end bolt, with like one of the practice tips,
Yes,
but
here,
still. Fuck, it stuck in my ass just enough to hurt, and I had to pull it out and shit.
You have no idea how funny I found that.
I found it funny. I wanted to fucking put that, because back whenever we were trying to get Mottler going, I wanted to get that audio clip of me on there, on one of our fucking demos and stuff, because it was just too awesome.
Yes, but I also find it funny because I just like the idea of you in pain.
I know.
It pleases
It's so
me.
endearing. He wants my pain and suffering. That's what true friends are. I think that's another thing, like, just going back to the whole entire why the internet's fucking bullshit, and, aside from the fact that it went mainstream, so of course, but you got so many people that mistake sycophants for friends.
Oh, God, yes.
It's like, if they're not constantly agreeing with me, then they're not my friend. It's like, no, they're a sycophant. They're only agreeing with you as far as they can use you through that agreement. And they'll prop you up, and the moment you fuck up, they're going to do what polite society does and step on you to get ahead. Because it's nothing but a fucking status-seeking social climbing game. And that's another reason why people can't forgive anymore. Because they forgive, they can't step on you when it's convenient for them to fucking get ahead.
My friends looked after me, when I was high or whatever.
Oh yeah, they looked after me, make certain I didn't kill myself. Usually.
And they were a big help, and they guided me places and cited guide and stuff. But they would also rip on me mercilessly, especially if I did something stupid or said something stupid high.
But they also let you do the stupid things, and sometimes they'd push you around and fucking, whatever. But, like,
yes,
there's a difference between, getting into a sword fight with a friend and trying to kill someone with a sword,
They would let me do stupid things because he has to learn, and okay, he's not actively hurting himself, and it's hilarious.
I mean, even being set on fire, you have to remember, Jeff was stoned out of his gourd. Normally, he wouldn't set me on fire. Except for that one time. That, and I'll get to that story, but normally he wouldn't set me on fire, but he was stoned out of his gourd. I realized he was stoned out of his gourd. It wasn't meant as malicious, it was more meant as, oh, this will be funny.
Yes.
Because he was stoned out of his gourd and lacked the sense that this might hurt Jim. And at the same time, I was pretty invincible. Now, the one time that he actually did try killing me, entirely his fault. Because what we were doing was, this is before we did drugs. We were by this one creek. We found a place where people had partied the night before. And we were using the glass bottles there and putting M80s in them, lighting them, throwing them in the little creeks so they go down and watch them blow up. Well, one time he got an M8. Well, the one M80 had a very short wick. I was like, dude, we shouldn't do it with that one. He's like, oh, it'll be fine. Well, I was holding his leather jacket at the time, so whenever he lit it, I hit underneath his leather jacket, suspecting that the thing would blow up and glass shards would fly too close. And sure enough, yeah, they did. And they cut Jeff. And then he looked around and saw I was smart enough to take cover. And he blamed me for his own misery and started chasing me around with his fucking butterfly knife.
As you would, yes.
Mm-hmm. So I was just smart enough one, and eventually we realized, yeah, that was stupid because that was his fault. But
yes, but these days, if you say, especially because me being the whole blind thing, oh, you had horrible friends, because they did that to you when you're blind. It's like, no, I thought it was hilarious, and I needed the learning experience.
Uh-huh. And it's like, growing up antisocial, not non-social, which people mistake it for, just not talking, antisocial, where we, like, do things that are, like, very mischievous and against society, or at least societal norms,
Yes.
We both had these tendencies. I fucking grew up in a mental institution. He came from a fairly well-to-do family, not like a rich family or anything, but like, his father was climbing the corporate ladder of a small company, mind you, but still.
I managed to slip through the cracks of the health system, the mental health system. But anyway, so yeah, I had friends who would, let me do stupid things, but they would also, no, you're going overboard here, or no, he's stoned and he has a knife, get it away from him.
Mm-hmm.
Or, so when it mattered, they saved me from doing stupid things. But, lethally stupid things, I should say. But they also let me do other things. And like I said, you say that now and people, oh, you had horrible friends. Look, if I didn't have those friends, you would have read about the blind kid who attempted to rob a Carl's Jr. clucking like a chicken because he did the wrong kind of drugs and he didn't have friends to stop him. So he was clucking like a chicken attempting to rob a Carl's Jr. holding a Cocker Spaniel as a gun.
No, first time I'd seen Clockwork Orange, I was tripping my balls off. And movie put the idea in there, oh yeah, let's go out and murder people. That'll be fucking awesome, it'll be fun as hell. Let's go out and fucking violently beat people down, this, that, and the other thing. They're like, no, Jim, just watch the movie, settle down, watch the movie. And then it finally got to the point that he went to jail, and I was like, oh yeah, prison exists. I shouldn't do those things. If they wouldn't have held me back, I would have been all about, yeah, and someone's house would have gone on fire, and I'd be sitting in jail right now.
And I would probably be dead.
Uh-huh.
Or clucking like a chicken still. I still love this. And Fally tells a story where he freaked out while watching Apocalypse Now. He was on acid and he thought it was real. We were watching... I wasn't here for this, but apparently a friend was watching Full Metal Jacket on acid.
Fun movie for that.
And he ran out of the house screaming because he thought it was really happening. I also love the story. Now, I've never been this bad, and Jim, you tell me if you've been this bad, where Fally he was on acid. It was the same day, the Full Metal Jacket story.
Mm-hmm.
And it was either acid or PCP. Anyway, he really wanted to eat something, and so he tried to cook ramen in the shower.
Yes, I could see the logic of that. There's multiple problems with that, but I could see the logic.
There was one other
and the logic only exists if you're fucking ripped out of your gourd, mind you.
I have to send you this story because there was one other thing where he held someone at knife point for a glass of milk or something.
Knife point for a glass of milk. I remember Jeff trying to get people to hang out with me. He'd have to hold his friends at knife point to make sure they hung out with me. Then after they hung out with me once, it's like, oh, he's not that scary, but like really cool, but like, and they didn't get to know that unless they were forced to hang out with me because all they knew were the legends. And the fact that, me being me, that didn't help either.
Hey, at least you have legends.
Oh yeah, I'm the satanic baby killer of Jeanette.
I still run into people. So, now, I'll just mention this again. I'm fully blind, and I'm alive. So clearly, I haven't actually driven cars or anything. But apparently, one of the legends is I stole a car and drove it across the state or something like that. Is what?
How? That's awesome. I'd love to see you try. You'd get 5 feet. and then get pissed off and hit reverse and smack into something else, and it would just keep going until the whole thing just collapsed and the engine fell out.
No, come on, I wouldn't do that. I go 5 feet, then get pissed off and go forward at full speed.
And then you crash to the windshield because you'd be too out of it to buckle up.
Yeah. And as my body flies through the windshield, you hear, "The blasphemy is dead."
The blasphemy. The blasphemy.
Just imagine hearing that for 90 minutes in your voice. You are the blasphemy. You are the blasphemy.
I mean, God, you know, when I fell down, they'd help me up while they were laughing at me, which I deserved because it was my own stupidity why I would fall. And
Yes.
same thing here, but like, that's what builds character friendships. It shows how close you are, that you're willing to laugh at each other's foibles. They'll sit there and point out your weaknesses, but not bash you for them. They'll mock you for them, you know. They won't, like, sit there and, like, try to shame you into, like, submission. Because, you know, if you're fine with the fucking weakness and that's just part of you, oh, well, they've already accepted it. You know.
I mean, I can remember this guy attempted an acquaintance attempted to jump onto the roof of something, of an old building, a very rickety building, right? So he attempted to jump on the roof for some reason, and of course the roof caved in and he fell, you know, many feet to the ground. So first we laughed, and then we realized that he might be dead, and then we heard a fuck coming from the building. So that meant he was all right, so we kept laughing. Once we knew he was capable of speed. Now, keep in mind, he could have like every bone broken because all he said was "fuck."
Yeah.
So
Okay, he's still alive, so he's fine.
Yeah, he's still alive. So I think we laughed for about 10 minutes.
You'll have that.
I don't think he broke anything. I know he twisted his ankle, but he didn't break anything. But still, oh, he's alive. Keep in mind he could be bleeding to death. But yeah, I mean, that's, you know, hey, we made sure he's alive.
Yeah, we made sure he was alive before he died.
Fuck.
Oh man.
Oops.
But like, you know, everyone always trying to kiss your ass and tell you all the positive things about you all the time. That's bullshit.
Well, I had, you know, every opportunity to befriend those people and to take advantage of them because the whole blind thing. But I always felt so. The school wanted to do something. I think so. Yeah, school wanted to do something where they wanted to blindfold. I think they might have actually ended up doing this, where they wanted to blindfold the entire class and have everyone go sighted guide, you know, to like walk a mile in my shoes. And I was against it because
Let's make a spectacle out of the blind kid and not actually, you know, get to know him.
well, those weren't my words. My words were, I don't want to feel like the Elephant Man. Which is a rather more colorful way of saying what you just said. Yeah, I felt like I was the freak. I felt like, you know, so I really did not like that. I was never a big fan. Or the whole, granted, I mean, I have used it. You know, the time we got VIP seats at Mayhem Fest, I did not complain.
Fuck.
Slayer's lot up close.
Oh, yeah.
I like that.
That's always a good thing.
So yes, I did not complain when that happened, but yeah, I've had all the chances in the world to befriend people or to even date people who would kiss your ass. But my girlfriend, you've heard her make jokes about how sad, but I've showed you jokes about how sad and pathetic my life is or whatever, or, you know. She she's gonna, you make jokes about leading me off a cliff.
Yes.
And I said, well, yeah, but now I know that, so I'll just go where your voice isn't. You're like, well, yeah, but then I'll.
Yeah, you don't think I haven't already calculated that? I'll take
Yeah.
you to a place where going towards me is off a cliff and going away from me is off a cliff. After I spun you around to confuse you so you don't know which way is correct.
I'll just stand goddamn still.
You'll have to move sometime.
Why is he just standing still?
For like days. He's waiting for someone he can trust. They're not coming. Yes.
And it'd be even better if I wasn't even near a cliff. Why are you standing still? I don't want to fall off the cliff. Sir, you're on a sidewalk. I don't want to fall off the cliff. So I'm just standing still.
Yeah. Like, all right, test him for drugs.
Well, I love the joke whenever we read a particularly bad article. That's it. I'm gonna jump out the window. Keep in mind the windows of this house is not even to my ass, so basically like 3 feet off the ground.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the it's the thought that counts. Someone just sees me in my underwear. I want to go home.
Yeah.
I don't know where I am.
It's a friendly game of crackhead crack rock.
So, yes, I think that's what a good friend is. A good friend will mock you, but they'll always be there for you. And then after they've gotten you out of the situation, they will mock you for it.
Mm.
Especially if the situation is your fault.
Exactly.
If you're, because my personality is I want to try, things. So I would have tried drugs and alcohol and stuff. Regardless, I was always warned, don't talk to these people. This is the bad crowd. I'm sure you heard that many times. The bad crowd.
Yep.
So
I was part of the bad crowd because I came from a loony bin. Which ironically is what put me into the bad crowd's arms, because everyone was shunning me. Because I wanted to be the good boy at the time, but with everyone shunning me, what were my options?
Oh, so you were shunned right off the bat. See, I was. See, there was a sliding scale. It went from you don't want to be with them, they're the bad crowd, to people warning them against me. So anyway, I would have found all this stuff without finding the puke gang, but I would not have had the friends to moderate, which is why, again, you would have heard about me. Blind man attempts to rob Wendy's, clucking like a chicken, using Cocker Spaniel as gun. Cluck, 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 cluck.
Mm-hmm.
But because I had friends who would tell me, no, this is too much. That's too much. You're going overboard. I'm here. And I didn't gain my brainage.
Mm-hmm. I brained my damage real good.
You had no brain to damage.
Yes. And this is what friendship looks like, kids.
Did you have like an IQ of 5,000 or something at one point?
Yeah, it was over 180 whenever I was in the mental institution. It was gauged there. After years of drug use, I had it gauged again when I was still fighting to get my kids back. And it was in the 150s then. And that was years after I stopped doing drugs, which really killed a lot of brain cells. See, that drop of 30 odd points, that's what the drugs did, and I was still above average.
So you said when you were a kid you had an IQ of 180?
Uh-huh.
I actually have your report right here, Jim.
Mm-hmm.
And it said, we regret to inform you that there was a misprint on Jim Thompson's report. His IQ was listed as 180. It should have been 18.
Oh, okay.
See, that's what friends are for.
Mm-hmm.
I called you IQ of 18. That's not even infant. That's like amoeba.
Amoeba fuck.
Yes, this is what friends are for.
Piss, tit, shit, cunty fuck.
You know, I resent when you say I have no eyes. Because I have eyes. They just don't work.
I know.
Now, see, so I had an idea to form a, if I was ever going to be like a cult leader, right? And someone said, well, how would you know if people would, be plot against you? So I said, well, before you get into the cult, you have to stab your eyes out. It's only fair.
Mm-hmm.
The eyeless. You must stab your. Actually, as you know, Jim, I'm way too impatient to be a cult leader.
Yeah, I know. I got the patience for it, but then I realized, oh yeah, that might not be,
That's why Jim Jones failed. He was too impatient and too paranoid, because he was sending some people to Guyana because he wanted the People's Temple, and he had a plan for like a measured, bring in some people for 4 or 5 years or whatever, a couple at a time. And there was an article in a magazine which didn't actually have wide circulation, that it wasn't even very negative. It kind of just cast some doubt on Jim Jones. But he freaked out about this and sent his entire troop, his entire temple to Guyana, except for people to watch over the San Francisco chapter. And that's where he made his mistake, was the settlement in Guyana was not, done in time. So that basically killed any sort of deification he had, because Jim Jones would get stoned out of his gourd and talk on the intercom for several hours incoherently. I like to think that he created time cube, but just imagine you're trying to work, right? Trying to build this settlement, and all you hear is for hours on end. Finally, people would just turn, because he was so high he didn't know. People would just turn off the intercom just to give them some peace and quiet. And of course, he decided to, kill everyone.
Well, have everyone kill themselves, and those who refused were the ones killed.
And a lot did refuse. It's impossible to tell how many, because the heat and the humid air made rotting, going quickly. The other thing that's interesting is, I'm sure you've seen plenty of spy movies where they take the cyanide capsule and they just die right off the bat. It's painless and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever looked up what cyanide does?
Yes, it's painful.
It's terrible. It's basically asphyxiation.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes, I read a book all about Jim Jones this year, and Charles Manson. Or I remember telling you, I'm reading a book about our favorite hippie.
Yeah, hippie.
He is our favorite hippie.
Mm-hmm.
And so, expand your mind, people.
And on that note,
and this has been the Swine Brothers Show, episode 195. We will do more shows. We will get to 200 very soon.
That's in the works.
Probably in about 2032.
Maybe, if you're lucky.
Anyway, email us Cosmicgodsdie@gmail.com, and Facebook is Swine Brothers. And like, comment, and subscribe, and share. Definitely share.
Share the fuck out of it, because we ain't going to be part of any algorithm.
Yes, and comment if you like us or hate us. Anyway, for the Jim, I am the Elliot. We'll see you next time, folks. And Happy New Year.
I want a death robot army to force people to shit their pants into their own mouths.